I'd rather have a video up there than not. Oh, that was more positive. Is that spinning? That looks better. Okay. So yeah, can you guys confirm it for one? Can one of you confirm for me, please? I'd appreciate it. It should at least be running on YouTube now, and not vertical. It should be running, not yeah, vertical. I keep calling it vertical. It's not vertical. It's whatever. Words are hard right now. Portrait. Ah, there we go. Thank you. Chat isn't being relayed though. Did restream disconnect? Restream disconnected. Now that won't reconnect. You can have one thing. You can't have both. Save. Nope. Dear. Okay. We'll go back to the old school way for right a second. So honestly, I think if I was to do this all the time, well, if I was to do this all the time, I do this all the time, right? No, if YouTube was paying, like, because ad revenue, there's a lot more, right? I can see it, but I can't see it, and it's not linked to the chats now because Restream's disconnected it, and Restream won't reconnect a YouTube stream once it's running. OneLine and I discovered that several months ago. There are paid solutions for this, right? I could pay like $40 or $50 a month for access to this. If YouTube was monetized and it was actually making some money, then I'd probably consider that. But I can't keep spending hundreds of dollars a month on software all over the place for trying to do this sort of stuff. So anyway, back to this. So we already have this configured, right? So in theory, I know, famous last words and all. In theory, oh, it's already broken. It crashed out entirely. It already broke. Nope, there you go. Finished. Saga trigger service. Yep. So now I've just totally broken it. Awesome. It's tab to fix. So now I have just totally broken that. The Saga trigger service is now just broken. So now I don't have a choice. So what I did here is I moved the scope out here, so that I got the things here. I changed these to be transient, which is right, because what that should do there is it should have created a scope here so that I had a specific collection, but then it would retrieve a new Saga persistence every time it went round. So it would dispose of it down here. What that's complaining about cannot access a disposed instance. A common cause of this error is disposing a contents instance that result. Yeah. This is where I end up back in the game library again. I don't have. This is my last stream for a week, so yeah. I don't not want to end on a failure. I wanted to end with a success on this one, but I made the mistake. What I should have done is spend hours figuring out the testing here. Now AI is not going to help me here because I don't know how to explain what I need to test, right? So if I ask a vague question, I'm going to get a vague answer, or I'm going to, even worse, get crap. So I need to be careful about how I do this. The biggest problem I'm seeing that I have here is that I'm not actually... So Saga trigger service, to list. So what I did is I to listed here so that I got the actual sagas. Actually, let's see if we have some good news there, because I think we might have persisted something, which is why that's trying to trigger. Maybe we did persist something. Just maybe. Liquid sky. This window. Nope, didn't persist anything. So that's even more annoying because there's nothing for it to even query. It's just querying and failing. Query provider, execute call, generate cache. Let's look at this. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to do that, right? Because then I get one instance for the entire lifetime, which keeps an open connection. So that was why that's in there. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can recreate this. So trigger. Integration tests. We need to start the service. Trigger service integration.tests. So what we'll do, this is an interesting one, this one. So XUnit integration testing or XUnit testing, you actually required to create a console app. You don't create a DLL anymore. This is XUnit v3. So if you go to look for XUnit, right, if you just type XUnit, it'll give you version 2. If you want the latest version of XUnit, you have to type xunit.v3, and that will give you the latest unit of the version of XUnit. I think by default, all the libraries stuff, if you say create a new unit testing project, are actually still using v2. So because there's some API breaking changes in v3 and some behavioral differences. So yeah. Yeah, copy that. Copy. I kind of do want this. And unit brought stuff. Wow. Thought that was very stable. I think they're trying to accommodate like this integration testing scenarios being slightly different than the unit testing. Used AI to refactor. Okay. It's not bad. That's not a bad use. That's a time saving, right? So, let's copy that. These two projects are similar but different. I want to, I need to test the trigger service. Let's copy that piece in. Refactor. Just namespaces. Yes. So install package. Install package. That's fine. That's fine. I've got to be careful there. Hold on. Sagas. Refactor, adjust namespaces. Next. Like, what I actually need to test is still similar. Serolog. Serilog dot console. The console sync, and we need ASP.NET. Serilog dot hosting. There you go. There you go. That should do that. Okay. That fixes that piece. Now the tests. So what I've got to figure out is how do I start the service, right? In theory, by adding sagas, I have the service running because the configuration adds the service. So by running the host, I should be able to get the actual thing. Now, the problem being, how do I validate that? Now, the existing code has no sagas. There is no... Is that kind of the problem? There is no database there. Let's create... No, there's no collection there. That's fine. There's no collection there. You can't create a collection in here. It creates it when it needs it. So this query, this stuff in here goes to the Saga persistence. Saga persistence is configured, and just to prove that that's working, when I start the consumer, right, you add mediator. Mediator, we say register this Saga, register, use MongoDB. That's our persistence, right? So MongoDB is added by doing this. So we have service collection extensions. Use MongoDB means we add a pooled DB context. with whatever database name we pass in, which in this case is communications, and a connection string, and then we... Right, yeah. If there's any, if we register SQL Server and then add Mongo, it will remove SQL Server, right? It will remove that mapping, and then we map MongoDB Saga persistence. So that's done. So over here, we're using in-memory persistence, which is fine. Oh, maybe it's not. So hold on. When Saga is triggered, this is working. This test is passing. It's actually creating a Saga, saving it, and then waiting 30 seconds for it to trigger. So this is actually testing the service. But in this case, the service is in memory. I could take the day off. It is Gold Cup Parade. Well, it's not like you have to travel out the house to do your job, is it? Don't you work remotely? Provincially, we get the morning off, and it's summer Fridays. Ah. I don't know. Seem to get an awful lot of days off in Canada. You're accepting applications. Just a regular number of days off. I don't know if the whole 51st state goes through, maybe. That's not going near that one with a 10-foot pole. Yeah, okay. Again, regular number of days off. What I would have called a regular number of days off in the UK is not the same here, right? So it's what you're used to, I suppose. So I might not need that. I might not need this explicitly. Let's delete this. I think I do have what I need to... See, these are testing the persistence integration. But I need to go further out. So let's do this. Let's change the scope. Let's delete this. Come on, wake up. Tests. Trigger service integration tests. Okay. So that test trigger triggers with in memory. So that's agnostic of the actual implementation of persistence. So let's go here and create a new fixture that mimics this behavior, right? Application fixture. Let's refactor that. And then we need when Saga is persisted. So let's add a directory for Sagas, and we will create a we'll copy that in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to test MongoDB persistence, right? And so this is fine to do this in here. I just need a different test for the different fixture. So this fixture will run and create an instance of an application, whereas the other one will run and create an instance of the persistence. So here we're going to use MongoDB, right? So we're going to need this piece here. We need a MongoDB container in this one. Actually, let's mimic that behavior. Got the service collection. Got that MongoDB container. And let's create that on persistence fixture. Why is it read only? It's interesting. Oh, because the other one's creating the constructor, not the initialize. But I need asynchronous behavior here. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. That's all fine. So use MongoDB, and then the connection string will be MongoDB container dot connection string. Connection string. I like how it filled in everything else. But yeah. So that's now going to use MongoDB. So what I'd expect is if I create a test of when Saga is triggered, and this one is a application fixture. Let's do that. Trigger is executed, state is updated. So same test at the very basics. We can worry about the nuances of the test later. We don't have to panic about a lot of this stuff. This is slightly different as well, right? Sample trigger when it's triggered. That relies upon fixture having that. And whereas once application fixture provider is there, that's fine. iSaga factory, iSaga persistence. Ambiguous invocation. I don't think so. We need a few more things, don't we? Application fixture, cancellation token source. That's so we can coordinate the actual cancellation. So when we shut it down, yeah, that's the purpose there. Why is that complaining as if it doesn't have it? Application. Oh, because I've got the wrong fixture. That's why. Import missing references. Okay, there we go. That's looking healthier. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the same pattern, but now that should persist to Mongo. So if the problem actually is there, this will blow up, right? That's the idea. So you should be able to run the test in here now. Uh-oh. Class feature type. Couldn't find resource. MongoDB can please create the resource by calling start async. Oh, yes. You need to do a little bit more, don't you? Build. Okay, that's how I do it. So this is because it's an initialize. App. So I could put it in the constructor the same way. CTOR, and then all this goes in here, I do believe. And then this is similar pattern. Testing makes AI a lot more usable. How do you figure? It tells you if the code is wrong. Depends on the direction there, doesn't it? Radio Patrick, good morning. How are you doing? Thank you for moving out last night. I went and hung out with Patrick and Bear for a while. They were watching Clash of the Titans and what was the second one? Is that a second one? Yeah. Um, Clash and Wrath. There we go. Yeah. I watched. I did have Clash. I did have most of your stream up. So I was like, but I was kind of working through my game library stuff, and then it was later by the time you started the second movie. So I was just kind of hanging out there. Yeah. They weren't terrible. They were pretty good movies. Like if you know that sort of stuff. I think yeah, I had a roommate and I would tell him, you gotta switch your brain off sometimes. You just gotta enjoy a movie for being, it doesn't have to be a visual masterpiece. It doesn't have to be an acting tour de force. It can be what it needs to be. Sometimes that's just good fun and action. Ah, come on. Class fixture type, 3 inch. Could not find resource. Please create the resource by calling start async. That's what I did. That's what I did. Oh dear. What are you doing to me? Public Saga persistence fixture, right? Application fixture. We create the fixture. It's never instantiated. I beg to differ. We create the MongoDB container. We create our app host. We start the MongoDB container. I don't know what initialize could be. So to the question to the thought, Dota, in terms of AI making unit testing making AI better, or a lot more usable. It's a bit of a chicken and egg with AI right now. So you can produce code far faster with AI, right? You can produce it. Whether it's good or not is again open to interpretation and very hard to verify if you create too much. So do you write the tests first? Do we get into a world where we write out the scenarios we want to test? And then we have it build out the framework. So I write down, hey, I would like to validate that when I create a new Saga, that the Saga can be triggered, that the Saga can do this, the Saga can do that, the Saga can do this, and I build out basically a BDD style document of what I want it to do, and then I say, now please go and build unit and integration tests against that expectation, right? And then I say, let's implement the behavior from these things and let's see these things working. Do it. Is that the way to work? Again, I feel it's very easy to let it run off and do stuff. You know, the game tracking stuff, definitely on the React side. I'd write out all the tests and then I get the AI to write production code. So you create all the interfaces and build everything off interfaces. I mean, you could also ask it to find edge cases in there that it feels are worthy of testing. I don't understand why this is not like it's telling me it can't find MongoDB to start, but oh, do I have to have it started before? Is this a oh no? Is that because of this? Let's have a look at the Saga. So the Saga persistence, I do this. I have a similar pattern, right? And then an application fixture. Yeah, I do that. Is it failing here? Because it's not hitting this breakpoint. That can go back to read only, that's fine. That can go to read only. They technically can be protected, I think. If I could actually spell the word protected, we might. No, apparently they can't. They have the Republic because I'm not actually. They're not. I'm not. I mean, they're not inheriting. You don't inherit fixture. You inject fixture. Application fixture through in its constructor. Fixture mapping manager line 182. Exception aggregator. Line 44. So the only way of doing that is to make sure this is started up first. Pardon me. Sorry. Is initialize is invoked by what is initialize invoked by? I mean, I can fix it by doing this, right? I can fix it by saying, okay, let's remove them. Let's take all this again. Let's move this here, right? Let's take that. Let's put that there. So Mongo container is started before the application is even configured. Let's see what you do now. State persistence extensions. What? Not supported. Serialization, deserialization of its system int pointer. The state is an Yeah, fair enough. because it's in memory. You get some different behavior, right? So the state can actually carry with it the cancellation token. That's that's fine. Has been triggered. That's going to be a challenge, but we'll figure that out afterwards. Fixture. That cancellation token source dot token fixture. Something is rattling. This may cause more problems, but let's find out. And on the topic of not being possible to foresee all the tests beforehand, I think again writing out the use cases just the same way you would now. You're not going to see all the tests, but my where does AI take over then? Right. If you're not going to use AI to create the tests, where does AI have to use AI more to figure that out? Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm. Okay, so it failed because the state has been triggered was false. But it didn't error. Did it trigger? Did it try and trigger is the question. Did it do any of this? I kind of both don't and do want it to hit a breakpoint. The more I do use AI, the more I do feel that we are definitely getting replaced. There's a lot more we can still do. In one of our many discussions in the past, DCIG brought up having the preference that we write the tests and that defines the business logic for an app. And he gave other better worded reasons as well. And since that is a critical part of the development, the implementation details don't matter as much. Yeah. Like, definitely the more I use it, the more I can see a world where we basically say, okay, here's the bounds of what we expect you to do. Like, can you go off and put these things together? The more I use it, the more I feel that you do definitely need to keep a close eye on what it's producing. You will get mixed results. You can tune things all you like. It's still going to put some randomness in there. It's still doing things. I need to make sure that I figure out a way of telling the prompt, removing authentication and authorization is never a solution in debugging, because it's mass removed things multiple times already on different projects. So there's things you know, as you go, you have to learn. You have to keep an eye on things. You have to make sure that it's heading in the right direction. It can do a lot, without a doubt. The game library app would be nowhere near where it is right this second. Within a week to have that much stuff done, when I know full well that that's taken me weeks of streams before, is astounding. And that was when I was doing 2-hour streams, right? So. Yeah. I do still continue to be concerned of the people that are letting it run and not validating things though. So that looks like the service does not even start. Right? This never triggers. But on the other side it does. So what does that configuration look like that ours doesn't? Register component. Oh yeah. We shouldn't have to do that anymore. So it should look like that, right? I think I fixed that over here, right? Host builder extensions. Yeah. We figured that part out. Yes. Also, I should remove that. Although it benefited me this time, I should remove it. Oh, am I actually using it? Oh, that's why. That's why it exists. It exists to allow me to add in the extra pieces into my existing code. Yeah. And what you're describing is where I feel the collaborative synergy when using AI to implement features. It might take an approach that I do not prefer or believe is heading in the same direction, but since I am following along with it, we are reviewing each other's work. And while this combo is going on, I'm trying to understand how the economy works, and TBD is building agile software. Huh? Thank you for the shout out for Patrick. Yeah, if you've not been over to his stream before, he streams in the evenings mainly, so a bit late for potentially some people watching this stream, but he is it's a good time. I like hanging out there. Recently I've only caught the movie nights, but I do know he does do development and other things, so yeah. Okay. Debug unit tests. Synergy. Okay, so we do hit that. Do we not run this in this scenario? That's the question. Oh no, we get there. Oh, can I? There you go. It does happen. It swallows it. That's the problem. That doesn't happen in the main one, but that swallows it. Okay, so there's the problem. Okay. So the problem is, even if I'm doing this, this has already gone out of scope. I don't think this matters one little bit. But let's just let's just be sure, eh? No, because Saga persistence, Saga persistence is not. Yeah. So it's a transient thing anyway. But by the time we two list here, so this persistence all Sagas to trigger is already gone by the time we get there. That's interesting. Chop arguments list. What the? What the what? Oh yeah, he wants to do that. That's interesting. A little blade, axe. Yeah, it's an axe of some form. Chop. Anyway, enough of my amusement. How is that disposed so quickly? Persistent. All sagas to trigger. So let's have a look at how we do that in Mongo. So in Mongo, we create a saga persistence base where we get our context factory. Oh. But that's a new enumerable. The context is living only within that method. That's why this would never have been fixed, no matter how many times I move that around. To list. That will be the same problem over in. Oh no, well that's the thing. It's in the same. It's in the base, right? So that's a base behavior that, yeah, I'm not benefiting from. Okay. Okay, everything else should work. So we should be able to run these tests. So we're going to do a test. Once we've validated this works, which again, not 100% sure it will. This may wait until the entire 30 seconds now because of that. What I did before is I actually put the cancel inside of the trigger so that when it did trigger, it cancelled it and then it ended sooner. This still might succeed, but take the full 30 seconds. Dang it. Let's validate the Saga trigger service again. Let's make sure this does what I expect it to do now. When Saga is triggered. Yeah, again, now it's not firing. Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay, so that is actually working now. So that's not failing in the same way. So can we get into that state? Okay, so we have a Saga. It has a trigger. If we F11 into that, if it has a trigger, yeah, it does. Last triggered, next trigger time. We trigger impul. State has been triggered. Return base, return there. Update version if matches. Saga from DB. So there's our Saga in the database, version 1. Our version is version 0. Oh dear. I know what that is. Okay, so this this is working out pretty well. So when I'm loading it out of the database, I'm not populating version. But when I'm populating it for the purpose of usage. So I'm comparing 1 to 0. Yeah, I need to do something there. So what I need to do is is it Saga Saga persistence is going to be the beginning of this, right? So fetch Saga by orchestration ID does the build Saga from model, right? And there we go. That's the problem. You can see it right away. Saga.version equals model.version. Oh, you can't set it. uh, uh, I'm using it in the background here to understand economics. I would say that economics, the face of economics, is changing drastically as we speak. The way that things are working today are not the way things worked 30 years ago. This is frustrating. Not gonna lie. So I need to set on the Saga that I've retrieved. I can't avoid it. I need to iSaga. I don't want to set the version. Apply state. I think apply state has to do this part. Int version. Int version. Right. I think that has to do that piece. Saga factory extensions. Model.version. Model.version. Is it model.version? Is it Saga.version? No, model.version is fine. It's the one we're loading out. Econ is fake. I was getting degree in it. AI just told me I'm past Mount Stupid of economics knowledge. I don't get what that is. Sorry. And we need to do int version here, which we'll call apply state, which will take a version, which will take a version. That's so that if you're treating this as this Saga, you can still pass in state, but then you get type anyway. It'll cast it. If it can't cast this to the right state for this Saga, it will explode, which is fine. Version equals version. That's that. Private int version. And then we just do that. That's fine. I'm not an Econ Pro, but I did it reasonably well and I took AP macroeconomics and I was going to passively maintain the knowledge. Can be made. Protected. No, it can't. Well, I suppose it could. Let's see how that goes. And then we need version 1. That's our initial version, right? So that's fine. This will require us to pass in returns 1. Returns 1. Okay. What I was going to do, I don't know if I can do it now, is I was going to basically undo my change to the to list and then ask Claude to verify why I'm getting an object disposed exception. or ask Copilot, whatever, and see if that works, because I would like to know. Yeah. Morning, Mojo, by the way. My apologies. I don't think I said hello then. Yay, there we go. So we have fixed the problem. Let's undo it. Actually, let's commit first. Correct. Assistance. Will this skew the results? I'm scared to do a commit, because if it has access to the commit, it'll know that I've undone something, and it'll assume that that's the thing. Let's take that off as enumerable, right? And then let's run the tests and see if it can find it. It helps if you run the right tests, but that's fine. MongoDB, run unit tests. So I'm not trying to trip it up here. What I'm trying to do is validate that it will find things like this, right? That's what I said, Dota. Like, to me, economics is changing now. The last 10 years, economics is different than it has been. So I'm not studied in it. I've not kept up. I just do know that the way that I see things now. Yeah. There we go. So we have a failure again. That's fine. Okay, so now let's see if Copilot can help us out. I don't want to use Claude Code because I don't want to introduce Claude Code into this necessarily. Ask. I'm getting an exception when I'm trying to run the Saga trigger service that a disposed context was disposed. I've got to figure out what it is. I'll see. I'm just letting you guys go off on economics chat. That's fine. Likely cause, all sagas to trigger returns a deferred enumerable that is enumerated after using the scope. There we go. You nailed it. There we go. That's how you can learn. Interesting, it does the cast. Being that we validate that it is Saga. But it identified it straight away without me giving it even the context of the file. Cool. Now that's a kind of minor example, but I think that's a useful thing to do from time to time, is to validate that it is going to identify things to give you a bit more confidence that it's finding and suggesting real solutions and not getting itself, because that's a very, very, very narrow example. But again, I've been experimenting with this now solidly, day to day, for months, and I still want to make sure that what it's producing when I ask it to produce stuff makes sense. Correct issue with context. Fix correct issue with DB context, all sagas to trigger returning incorrectly. Should enumerate for return. Fix version was not being correctly tracked. So I need to think more about the test plan around versioning, because clearly I had a bug there that I only found inadvertently through testing this. I didn't have an explicit test to validate that when a version was tracked. So something went weird there. My expectation is I did the test against the in-memory. And the in-memory, again, this is why testing with SQL Server or testing with Mongo, etc., is an important step. If you're gonna validate your code properly with using this, integration tests are realistically the only way you can effectively test everything. Because if you're using in-memory database as a test, right, as an integration test, you're getting a set of objects. So if you change the version over here and you've grabbed that instance, you're going to change the version. So it's going to track things differently. I know there are some tests around versioning, but yeah. Having it persisted in a database is going to be a different behavior. Correctly tracked. Pass in when applying state. Applying state. Applying state. Commit and push. All main, because, you know, I'm a professional. Read a book. Quite the conversation. Okay. So with that done, we'll close Sagas for now. We'll close Liquid Sky for now, because I can't do any more until those PRs come through. Oh, those PRs. Yeah, like I made a PR. What a day. You're all good. Trust you to stay the right side of arguing. Yeah, you're more than welcome to continue any conversation in Discord. Okay, create new release. No, not Liquid Sky. We're not doing Liquid Sky, we're doing Mediator Sagas. All good. I get you. Draft new release 0.0.15. Correct persistence issues. Service was failing due to enumeration DB context scope, crashing, retrieving sagas, version was not being correctly set when restoring Saga, so version check, ignore. Wait. Publish release. Um, it's a bit of a weird statement considering the conversation. And me saying I trust you to stay on the right side of things, and then you drop that in the chat. Yeah. Whatever. It is what it is. Okay. So that deployed. Okay. So that'll be a few minutes anyway, so I won't have any chance to get that tested and whatever. So I'm going back to Game Trove. To end the stream. So next week, I'm not going to be streaming next week. I am out of town. I go on Monday, but getting up Monday morning, I want to be packed and ready, so I don't want to be messing around with trying to get the stream in and then get packed and ready for work. So it's fine. It's fine. I don't think there's anybody around that's going to be Jonathan Swift. Not sure. I'm not a well-studied person. Yeah, so no streams next week. I get back on about 2 a.m. on Friday morning, so I'm not going to get up and do a 7 a.m. stream on Friday morning. If it's anything like last time, I'm probably going to be sick again. but we will see. I'm hoping over the weekend I can get some of Liquid Sky done. That would be my ideal, so that I can get the sagas and stuff in place ready for when I get back. That would be the ideal. So yeah. Then we go here. CD, check it out. Social reading contest and content is top tier trolling for social good. Docker compose -D. So how do I map to a list of tuples from JavaScript? Is the question. So platform API service, platforms mappings endpoint, get all platforms, publish platform mappings. We'll publish this and it will take the stringified mappings, which is a platform mapping request, which is a platform's array of object that was being sent. Let's see, run that. Ugh. That's Game Trove. That's Game Trove. We can start that up. We'll give this one go. Let's see if, while we're waiting for that, let's see if we can ask GPT. I have a IEnumerable int collection on the .NET server side. Right. How do I map to this from JSON? Oh, what? Something is shaking, and every time I press a key, it's got bad enough that it's just driving me crazy. I don't want custom serializers. You can post matching each tuple becomes an object with item 1, item 2. If you prefer a cleaner JSON, add a custom converter. Yeah, but that's what it's doing. An array of item 1, item 2, right? But it mapped to 0, 0. So let's validate that it actually did. Taily tails, no, it's okay. Hello. What? What's the matter? You're okay. Hello. Aspire 9.4.1 is now available. Upgrade instructions. They now push notifications into your Aspire instance. That's funny. Oh. Hello. Hello. Can I scoop you? Can I scoop you? 1 second. So if we do Atari 2600 and publish mappings, that's going to break things, I think, but it's fine. Game tracking, this window. Okay. We're going to do, what did that do then? What did that do? Mapping, payload. Okay, so here's what it pushed. It pushed an array of item 1, item 2. Yeah. Well, the good news is the code that I wrote to map it works fine. Validation. We'll not go there. So why isn't that not mapping? Okay, Tails. Okay. Anyway, let's go raid maybe. I know maybe he's going to finish in a little bit anyway. But I need to go because Taylor is needing to go out. I do not want to ignore her. Don't see anybody else. Oh, Frank is streaming. Let's go raid Frank. Hopefully I'm not going to stress him with stream issues today. Yeah. Okay, he's streaming. Okay, good. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much for the conversations. Even the ones I didn't participate in, it's always good to see people talking and chatting. I will be I will be around people all week. I do not want to do next week, if I'm honest, but that is the thing. So yeah, I will be in Discord. You're more than welcome to join in Discord, and I'll see you around. So I'll be back on the 25th, where hopefully I've got Liquid Sky in a good place by then. So take care all. Have a great weekend. See you soon. Need a stream deck.